Hi everyone. I wanted to come today just because it's today that Mercury and Pluto do this conjunction to each other. That means that they're in that same degree. And I've been following Pluto, or at least been afflicted by Pluto, or blessed by Pluto, or transformed by Pluto over the last 14 to 15 years of my life, in a time where I didn't really know just exactly what the plutonic effect would have been in my life. And so I went along with it. I did some research. I did a bunch of things, and they said it wasn't until 2023 or 2024 that this plutonic transit would be completed out of that Capricorn sign that I belong to by birth. Of course, we are everything. We're all the parts. You know, we can't discriminate other people because then we're discriminating ourselves. But those are the lessons that I've learned through all of my plutonic transits, and so it began for me like in 2007, at the end of that year, where I had to almost give up a part of my identity that I believed that I was cultivating for quite some time. Anybody who ever knows me knows that it's been some time since I've been transforming my life. I think people, especially my family members, are probably like, what the hell is he gonna do next, and whatever, you know. I guess I go along with the plan of what the universe was gonna take me. And you know, some people, they make their choices, and I guess in some ways I gave into that. You know, I didn't give in to anything else. But hey, I'm happy to celebrate that it's been 15 years. And when I was going into this whole plutonic transit altogether, it was sort of like, what did you want to be obsessed about for the next 10 or 12 years of your life? And at that point in time, I couldn't see past being this musical identity that I totally had really thought that would be what I am today. But you know, I've had some realizations of people coming to say to me around those times that that wasn't for you, and that there was something much greater. And at that point in time, it was shattering that someone would come to you and say that to you. And you know what, looking back, I realized that I wasn't anywhere near that person, or even needed to be, because I was just, even though I was 27 at the time and hitting up my first Saturn return, I really didn't know anything about life. And that's another thing. You know, you think that in your 20s that you are going to sort of know everything about your life, and it's the untruth. It's sort of like you have to just kind of have all these combinations of things that you do, and however those experiences take you. The only thing that's remained, to be honest with you, are children that you've had, tattoos that you've had, you know, some decision. But a lot of things go. How you think, how you feel, what your new perspective is. And then now I'm in my 40s, and so I still feel young. I heard some man said the other day, he's like, he's older, and he's saying, oh, I still feel like whatever, but I know different. And he doesn't. So I say, you know, what's in your mind, you know, how you feel. Anyway, in my 40s, and I kind of like enjoy like who I'm stuck to cultivate and become, or who Pluto itself is really just made. So all this to say is that I feel like I couldn't go just a whole time without saying that I did survive the plutonic transit in my sign. And I had my inclinations beginning as early as 2008, when I was starting to have this dream that things were just that I needed to go back home, or I saw that my mom was in a certain way. And when my lease had ended in that September time, I had made the decision to go back home. But a lot of people, of course, like they always say, you know, why are you doing that? That's gonna be, and it was hard, because I had learned how to be who I am, love who I am. But now that I think about it, maybe if I had kept on going that route, I would have not been able to preserve myself what my true destiny was going to be. And even though I stand today in 2023 and I don't know what that complete idea would be, I have an idea of like how I come across in the world, you know, how I affect everything. You know, even up to today, this week I was having an issue, and you think that you would at some point in time get through or whatever, but there's always a lesson to learn of a level that you need to be at. I hope this camera is working out and you can see me. But yeah, there's always something to learn. And this is kind of personal. I had this watch and the batteries are gone, but it's been gone for like about a year or two, and I wear this other watch, and so I've been wanting to just change those batteries for quite some time. And anyways, I would pass this place every day that I would walk down the beach area, and it's never really opened that early. So one day I decided, which was a couple days ago, this is months now that I've been planning this, that I want to get my new watches just because of the fact that one of those watches has a certain number on it that I'm very superstitious. Everybody knows me. I'm not superstitious, but I'm auspicious mostly, I should say. Where, you know, I try to take the best luck ever things, because hey, my life is short. It is half over. Anyway, so when I got into the store, and it was, you know, there was an alarm, there was a security door that I needed to be buzzed in, and I got to the desk, and the woman asked me my name, and then she was like, oh, how can I assist you? And I was like, oh, well, I have these batteries. She goes, oh, okay. Well, you know, they're $50 each, and you don't get them on the same day. I said, okay. She goes, well, that'll be $100 since you want 2 watches. Do you want to do it today? So I just looked, and I was just like, well, you know, I really wanted it on that same day because, honestly, I wanted to play the lottery. And that certain number was on it. But anyways, something in her mind, what she says to me, I said, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know what the going price is, but okay. She says, well, do you really want to do it? I said, by the way, I don't know the prices of anything. And she was just like, well, you know, we charge a higher price because it's a high-end place. I said, okay, that's cool. She goes, well, you know, I'll discount it. Well, I said, no problem, I just pass here all the time. I'm just walking in. She says, well, I'll discount it to like $35 for you. And at that point in time, when I realized that she had perceived that money, that $100 was going to be too much for me, I mean, even though that I could really just do that and it wasn't going to be a problem, and to be honest with you, the spirit that I was in and thinking that I needed that whole thing, I would have just paid my $100 and got my 2 watches, whatever it is. But some part of that said that she had to lower some part of herself to give me a service. And I just realized I'm not reflecting what it is that I possibly have come to, and so or something inside of me. But you know, it really showed me, you know, yeah, I was just not at that Rolex caliber in that moment, and or at least had any of that items. I'm not gonna say to myself that I'm not gonna give myself a title about myself, because I know I was born abundant. I do have all the things in my life that I need, honestly, and I'm not gonna take that thing. But anyways, it kind of messed up my day, and I was trying to figure out just what it meant, and I was trying to say, well, was this lady being this way and whatever. It was like, no, it was this lady trying to tell me exactly what level I was at in my own in the worldview of financial status, you know. But you know what? I made all these different changes, and so now Pluto is now in my 2nd house, no longer my 1st house of who I am. So who knows what that's going to be transforming to, but that's the future. I just wanted to say that it doesn't matter how many times that you have to transform yourself into something. We're always moving to other levels, and we can't get mad at the people that show us specifically just exactly where we're not and who we are, because it helps us to at least correct in our minds, or to, you know, really say to yourself, you know, this is who I am and this is what I believe. And lately I've been having messages that you get what you are, not what you want. So that really just had to make me realize that there was another level within myself. However, I have so many things to celebrate because of the fact that, you know what, when I was giving up everything that I needed to give up in that first couple of years, and by 2012, Pluto had now conjuncted my sun. That means that Pluto at 10 degrees is now at my birthplace of where my sun is. And so now that specific little thing is its own little surgery where a new seed is planted into that person, and you're not changed the day after or whatever, but you are, and you can feel it, but you're not ready. But things are changing every day. It's just this landscape that's very small, but the land is moving, you know, the water is taking over. Those things are happening, and those are the effects of Pluto in your life. After about 2014, I had one of the biggest breakthroughs of my life, and I thought, really, I've made it. By 2015, I ended up in a new career. I was at this really huge world company called Hilton, and all of my experiences up to that point, it was really prepared me to really take on that whole thing. I ended up getting this really large spa, which was the second largest spa in the world, and I was one of 2 people that were hired in this mass hiring by Hilton on that year. So it really gave me a really beautiful beginning. But as I go there and I'm starting over, it really truly wasn't starting over. I was just getting started, because those people I've served, what I did in a non-country club kind of way, were all part of the salon that I had belonged to for all those years. And I could see how my life was changing. And so things I did during my Plutonic transit prior to 2012 or 2014, or 2015, when I finally got to that job, I found things in my mom's garage. I would sell them, and they were skincare products, and they were these rare Mary Kay makeup colors that people just didn't have anymore. And they would do these bids, and they would allow me to make some extra money in a time where, you know, I had to give up my job and everything else. What, that Plutonic thing, that was so bad. That Plutonic was my first one, and you know, I have like 2 other planets that is attached at 10 degrees, like my Jupiter. So I realized that whenever it got to those 10 degrees, that a lot of things were happening in different areas of my life. That's why I had continued with them, because had I not, I would not be able to understand the insanity that my life was taking on. Because you never really ever think that as you grow into your life, as you progress into who you are, you're continuously growing, and you're sort of like up this invisible ladder. And you are. It's just that you don't get so far by not having all the things that you would have already like had, you know, like a good childhood, or certainly you try to get into a relationship, and because you had a fucked up like way of understanding your parents for different reasons, and everybody has these, at least it's not a victim of anybody, you have to just, when you meet up to that person, they start to show you just what it is that you're not, or what you are, or and all of the above. And we tend to not like just where that first bit of revelation is taking us. But it's just the beginning of like us getting to know like what we're really going to offer to the world, as far as like love goes, as far as caring goes, as far as compassion goes. Yeah, we're born with all that, we give all that, and we find somebody opposite that does all that, that totally doesn't reflect any of that, so we have to put it out. And life just does that to you, so don't take it all seriously, even though it's your emotions, but just know that we are going through these scenarios so we can be better versions of who we are to ourselves, you know, and to our life experience. And along the way, figure out how it is that we could be of like the best service to humanity, you know. Going forward here, after about like 2015 or so, I went through a 3-year run of just having almost like a promotion almost every year. Until it got to about 2019, which it was my final year at this one specific job, just because in my 7th house there was this ending eclipse, but different elements of that time had told me that that time was up. Much more than, it was just reminded me of what it is that Pluto was doing to me back in like 2007 and early 2008. Just sending me these uncomfortable things that about my life that I realized that, you know, if I didn't make these choices, I wouldn't go any further. And you get this idea, which brings me back to today and what I'm talking about, is that this Mercury conjunction to Pluto today is some sort of message from Pluto. It couldn't get any better. And then we get to know this innate something. You know, I truly believe that because of the 2 different processes that I've gone through. And had I not been that person today, even doing that, and there's so much more to the story and my story, I'm not sure exactly where I'll be taking that at some point. Maybe in a book. You know, but people, I think people should be interested, especially now that Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. You know, you should get an astrologer to just help you understand, especially if you're an Aquarian. If you're any of the fixed signs at this point in time, Pluto is going to just come after you. You know, you've had Uranus in some fixed signs, like say for instance, Pluto is sort of like is in the cross of the fixed cross at the moment. So now you have Pluto joining up to that fixed cross, and Uranus is almost halfway through his thing. So now we'll have this double thing. So now if you're Aquarius and if you're any of the fixed signs, you should find yourself an astrologer. They can kind of help you, guide you, just because of the fact that the navigation ahead is sort of unknown, and it's you dig deep inside your soul, and you come out as so many things. You do take on the butterfly and the caterpillar effect, and how you dissolve into nothing and you become something. Or you do get that Uranus moment as a fixed sign where you're hit with a lightning bolt of an action. That action almost seems like it's crumbling your life in that moment. But after 4 passes of Uranus, I swear, 4 passes, you'd realize that you're in a whole different landscape and that problem is no longer there, but you go through it. But even between that moment where Uranus starts to do its work within that 6 months of its time, you'd realize that the freedom is really just happening. It's probably not always in the way that you would want it to be, but if you really think about it, you are freed up from a situation. You might have no money, but guess what? You have a whole lot of free time. And those are the things that really, really do happen to you. So for those people who, you know, if you're an Aquarius, if you're a Scorpio, if you're a Leo, if you're a Taurus, reach out to someone who knows a little bit about this. And, you know, there's so many astrologers out there that really love this new thing. You know, I feel like if they stick to like the bigger story, I think that we'll be okay. You know, we don't understand everything. Some people are good at everything. You really couldn't negate another person. But I think that everyone, you know, Leo King yesterday was saying that, you know, and then Pluto at 29 degrees, you got to have this expectation. You know, I've been listening to him for a long time, and I purchased some of his videos, and I really do enjoy him and his passion. I don't think that anybody else is like him, and he's really helped me through a lot of times, as well as a few other astrologers. Yeah. Anyways, this is my video for today about Pluto at 29 degrees, which is the last degree of Pluto, and that I have survived it, and that I am happy. And definitely Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius is going to take my journeys to a different thing. It's definitely in a place where I'm more mature enough to kind of navigate, as well as be excited about whatever those changes are. But I hope this video came out well. I wanted to share this with you. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. let there be peace on the beach. Happy Sunday. A new guy standing out here today.